Hi, I'm JC, and I have both the Scritch and the Bitch. The Scritch is, I want to say that the programming style of some of the panels that I went to, the round table style, really nice. It really is nice to get an interactive of panels like that, and I think it's a very good thing. My bitch was not so much a bitch, just more of a advisory. I was at the variety show Masquerade, and I had a lot of fun. It was great fun. However, there were some issues of some people getting upset because of the possibly being too racy for kids. I don't have a problem with the programming being adult. I think there should have been a notice, and that would have solved that particular problem at least. But it's, you know.
Yeah, I can speak to that since I was organizing the Masquerade and reviewed all the acts myself, and I have to say you're right. I thought that was a good show, but you're right, we should have probably had a sign up there that said that, you know, everything was within legal limits and it was okay, but we didn't say that it was going to be, you know, have a little pizzazz to it there in a couple of sequences. And so I apologize to anybody that offended. We really should have had a sign up there and just didn't do it. Didn't think of it, frankly, and should have. So we'll get that better next year.
So, Rufus, I had one comment about the headless lounge. I was noticing that we had a lot of fans, and that was really cool, but we had no head blowers. And I know at AFF that they somehow managed to end up with 2 of them. And I was wondering, do those need to be donated, or is there somebody on staff who brings those?
Those are usually needing to be donated. We were hoping to have somebody bring one. I kind of ran out of time to make one.
Do you know if there's actually somebody who's supposed to be in charge of headless, or is there?
There is somebody in charge of headless. Zodiac is just over here. Zodiac, you want to come and speak to that?
Basically, Headless Lounge consisted of getting as much water as possible, making sure there were much fans. Head blowers were, I had no idea how to build them, and I did not know anyone who had any, or to construct them. I will try to make some contacts over the course of the next year.
Yeah, I just
that wouldn't help either.
Would help with that, and you have my contact info.
My name is Aloysius. I had a couple of issues with the website. I'm a COD version, so a couple of the things on the website were unclear. When I first visited the website, I wasn't entirely sure, you know, how to register or what's going to be available to register after the con. I did like the online scheduling though. That was pretty clear, and I like the content schedule. So it was just some of the stuff on the website was a little hard to get through. I felt like I was muddling my way through.
Okay. Definitely we were aware of that, and we have a new website, webmaster for next year. We're working on that. Also, a great question that I wanted to bring up was if we had a schedule very, very early, would you think the general consensus would be to understand that this very early schedule, 6 months out, 8 months out, would be horribly different than the final schedule? Would it be better for us to put out a schedule that only has 6 or 7 items on it and update it as they come in, and have people realize this is not going to be the final schedule? Or is it better for us to just release the schedule a couple of weeks before the con? So hands up for those who think it would be better to have a very early schedule.
Just have a notice that it's not the final schedule and say, well, it's subject to change.
Because it lets people plan ahead.
Yeah, and I won't promise this either. It's just an idea we've been tossing around.
Yeah, that's right. What might well be some of the history. Because usually when I look at a con, I look at the history, and then if it has last year, I look at the history of it. If it has the last year, it's probably going to be there next year, maybe, or at least I have an idea.
Oh, history and that we've actually discussed that and working on. The programming part, would like to answer on one thing though, is that's what I did here, is the events, is generally it's easier for me, I can get it out earlier, like June I can start posting stuff, but since it 8 months out, I can tell you we're gonna have a dance and a masquerade. We did have a couple people, panelists cancel this last minute, so.
And we'll do one final question for events before moving on to registration.
Well, actually, Neanderthal. Back to the head blower thing. Why not just like an electric leaf blower?
Usually it's just a pretty simple squirrel fan, which is what they use in that, with some PVC pipe to make it a head blower. It's very simple construction, and I'm sure Lurch and I can both come up with amazing designs for that. Sorry, Lurch can come up with amazing design, and I could come up with a design. Sure. And sure, I'm going to be pointed somewhere. Oh, yeah. Okay, so now, for now, we'll move on to the registration questions, and the.
I'm actually Super Tiger, but the problem was when I attempted to re-register this year, it forced me into using last year's persona, which happened to have been a fox. So I wound up having to be Kalen Fox instead of the choice of the two. And so
that's actually, a lot of people seem to be misunderstanding exactly how the reg system works here. If you pre-regged, it's true that we would print out all of your pre-registered documents. That was an experimentation we did this year to try and speed up the lineup. I think it worked pretty well, but for a lot of people who picked up the pre-reg slips, and probably yourself included, a lot of people didn't realize you could actually go to the terminal and change all of your information again. All those kiosks we had set up, those are set up so that you can go in there and actually change all of your information if you wanted to. You can change it totally, you can change your name, you can change your furry name, your address, whatever you like. So, yeah. Yeah, the clarification. We'll obviously have to clarify that a bit better next year. Yeah. And admittedly, we needed some better, a little bit better signage, and we'll have to obviously address that for next year.
Tracer Fox here, and the registration system you had is absolutely awesome. The only complaints that I might have is, like you said, you might need some more instructions, like either on the terminal or printed out next to the terminal, telling what they can do and exactly how to do it. Second, I don't know if our registration this year allowed fursuit registrations.
Okay, that's a good point. Actually, we did discuss the idea of having a separate registration for fursuit registration, like fursuit badges and things like that. We actually are, I don't want to promise anything, but we're really trying hard to maybe make that happen for next year. It's hard to say because it's very expensive to buy the printers for those cards. I don't know if any of you know the expenses of them, but they're very expensive, about $3,000 for a new one. So if we can find another one, then
another possibility is if you don't go the hard card like other cons, you could just simply have a second badge for fursuits.
That was also the other discussion we had. The biggest problem was that we didn't know, frankly, how we'd be able to secure against people giving those to friends and using them for entry into, various events, which obviously would take away from our.
I think we can commit to I think we can put a commitment towards having that solved by next year. And I think that the way I'm currently thinking, I engineered the reg system, so this isn't the way it doesn't have to be, but this is because it's my baby. Was that we'd build a overlay. We'd have to wear both badges, but the second fursuit badge would cover up the name on the first one, but not the hologram. So we know that it's a real badge, but nobody else knows who it is. We've seen at other conventions frequently a fursuiter will give away his fursuit badge and then go walk the con in his fursuit or with his regular badge. And it's something we're paying attention to. But we're definitely committed to having fursuit badges for next year. And, as you said, better instruction signage.
Any other questions? Comments? Registration comments in particular?
I just had a question. Is the head chairperson here?
Oh, depends on
what you mean. But like the very person in charge.
So just to introduce you, because obviously I didn't, I'm the chair of